Hey guys, I'm Faith. Welcome back to Faithfully Geeky. We've had a location move. We decided, if you watched one of my last videos, I was filming in front of my bookcases, but they were in a different location. We have since moved them into a different room because now my toddlers, who are 2 and 3 and don't get along all the time, are in separate bedrooms. This is a sidetrack and I don't care. We had to move them because they were fighting so much and no one was sleeping, and then we moved them and it was fine for the first night, and then the second night they like to team up. They're like a great supervillain team up, but they were up super early and we went downstairs and one of them was outside. So I think this is where the bookcases are going to stay. I don't think bookcases are going to be moving rooms anymore, but we're going to find out. Also, I will try to figure out something better about the glare, but for now, sorry. I could try to film without my glasses, but then I'm like, it's a book, I think. So, anyway, you didn't come here to hear about toddler mayhem, you came to hear about books. So today, we're going to be talking about 5 books coming out in the month of May that I have already read and I'm super excited about. As we move forward, if I keep doing these monthly preview videos, there will be more books, but as everyone knows, publisher dates keep changing, so I only have 5 that have stuck with the month of May. So first up is ta-da, Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is the 5th Murderbot Diaries book, the first full-length novel. It is should have written down the actual dates, but this is a May 2020 release. I think it's an early May 2020 release because the book club, the sci-fi book club at my bookstore is reading it, and so it needed to come out early enough for them to be able to get it and read it. I liked it. I didn't love it the way I've loved other Murderbot stuff, but that's just because I think Murderbot does so well in a short form. And while this is great and fun, and I really hope there are more, I kind of like that short little, like, I can read it in one night in bed and be like, ooh, Murderbot, hee hee hee. But that is just a personal preference. That's not anything about the book. In this one, Murderbot, if you don't know, by the way, Murderbot is an AI construct. They are a robot. I'm gonna put this down because otherwise I'm gonna be like, whoa. They are a AI construct designed as enforcer and protector in a universe where humanity is on other planets, and I don't think it's even we haven't gone to a world I've ever heard of before. We'll see. It's not in our universe, but the Murderbot is one of those artificial intelligent, they're like they have some flesh, but mostly robot. It's hard to explain. It's really not. If I was any good at this, I could do it, but there you have it. Murderbot has hacked its governor module, which is the thing that controls it and forces it to follow commands and do what it's told and not go off book, not kill anybody that it's not supposed to. Murderbot has hacked its governor module and is now able to not follow orders, but doesn't really want to tell anybody that because then they'll wipe its brain and reset it. Instead, it just wants to like be left alone and watch its TV soaps. And so in this one, Murderbot has gone on a series of adventures. Murderbot now has its own, owns itself, and is taking care of some humans. And as humans are wont to do, they get themselves in trouble. And so Murderbot has to go out and save those pesky humans who are making stupid decisions again. And another character from one of the first couple of books comes in, and I have never shipped a platonic AI relationship ever, but so hard. Like there's almost friendship. There is a friendship dynamic in this. I was just like, yes, give me more. So I'm hoping there's gonna be more books so that we can have more adventures. But yeah, comes out in May. Woo! It's on the floor now. All right, next book. Last Girls by Dimitra Brodsky. This is a YA from Torteen. Thank you, Torteen, for sending this to us. It is about 3 sisters living in Washington State in not a doomsday cult, but a doomsday prepper compound. Things happen. It's kind of a thriller. It's kind of a contemporary. Mostly, like, the book starts out with one of them jumps into a heating grate in their school, the AC ducts, because she has to get to her sisters because something has happened and they follow protocol and they have to get together. And then it wasn't what they thought it was. They were not under attack. And now people are trying to figure out that not only are they weird because they dress weird, they're weird because they're survivalists. This is not what I thought I was going to be reading. I read this last month. Not what I thought I was going to be reading right at the beginning of a pandemic. But so proceed with care. There's some triggers for nothing sexual. It's all just like survival, peril. Some people get killed. Like I said, it's a YA thriller. I liked it. It has a ending that makes sense. Everything logically comes together. But yeah, it's just hard to talk about this book in our current moment. But also, if you're some people don't want anything to do with pandemic reading. If you're someone who wants to read, like you read, not The Secret History. Oh my gosh, I just finished The Secret History and that's all that's going through my brain. If you've read Station 11 and then you're reading like pandemic books. This isn't a pandemic book, but it might scratch that itch a little bit. Next, the last one I have a physical copy of is a YA contemporary that I have I'm so glad I got a physical ARC. I will probably be getting a actual copy of this one. Also, I will put links below to pre-order stuff, and I will put a link specifically to my bookstore's pre-order website. If you didn't know, I work for an indie bookstore, and with everything going on, a lot of indie bookstores are struggling, and one of the ways you can help support indie bookstores is pre-ordering books you're excited for. We get pre-orders, and a lot of times, like, I head up finding publishers will offer signed copies. You'll see I have another video planned showing some of the signed copies I've gotten recently. But this one, Stay Gold by Tobley McSmith, we are getting a signed copies of at our store. It's very limited supply, but I will link it all down below if you're interested. This book is called Stay Gold, so yes, that is an Outsiders reference. The main character's name is Pony, so yes, we're all in on the reference. Okay, cool. This is an Own Voices novel. It's a debut about a trans boy going to high school in Texas, and Tobley McSmith is an out trans man who went to high school in Texas, I think. Now I'm like, wait, am I wrong? Oh no. But my boss had dinner with him at a conference and brought this back for me, and I was like, oh, he sounds so cool. Because he wrote an Outsiders reference book, but also it's just good. I've been pitching it to people as a it's not a Riverdale because there's nothing like crazy murder mayhem, but it's like that kind of outrageous, clearly 80s influenced teen soap. And it's a teen soap for a different demographic than what we frequently see. So I've talked before about how I'm really excited about all the like really strong queer contemporaries that have been coming out. And this is one of them. There are triggers for some. There's serious content warnings for misgendering. I wish I had my list right in front of me. I put it somewhere away and I really can't find it because we've been moving stuff. Tobley, see, I'm going to keep doing that. Pony moves to a new town. He goes to school as a boy. He doesn't tell anybody, and the book opens with him starting his first day of school and seeing one of the cheerleaders, and one of the cheerleaders seeing him. The cool thing is you think that's going to be the whole setup for the whole book, and it's not. You get a little ways into it, and they're obviously into each other, and he does the thing where he actually comes out to her. It doesn't take so long that you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to blow up. But it does kind of blow up because she's like, wait, what? But they stay friends, and so it's about them dealing with the fact, him dealing with the fact that he just wants to be seen as one of the guys, her dealing with the fact that she has feelings for a trans man or male, and what does that mean about her. I won't say this is the greatest work of literary fiction ever, but I think it's important to have all kinds of books available, and to be able to say, here's a book about a trans man, or by a trans man, about a trans boy. I'm really sorry, I'm not good at talking about these things today. And they just go through, it ends at prom. I mean, come on. It's an 80s teen soap. It's so good. It made me cry because I was happy, and then it made me cry because there is, spoiler alert, but I don't think it should be a spoiler because it's a content that you should be aware of going into it. There is an assault on Pony. So you have to deal with the fact that there will be an assault in the book. But for the majority of the book is not about that. The majority of the book is just him trying to go through life and be normal in his high school. So, yeah, like I said, content warnings for that assault. His father does not accept him as he is, and so there's lots of misgendering and dead naming from his dad. So you have to be aware of that. I think content warnings for friends who aren't accepting of the fact that he doesn't want to tell people that he's trans, that he just wants to pass. But for teens who like a good contemporary, for teens who live in areas where they've never come in contact with someone who is trans or don't know that they have, this is a great way to, like, you're super invested right off the bat. And I read this in like 2 days. I was like, can't put it down, have to know what happens. So I recommend it. I love it. And we have signed copies. So that is out in May from Harper Teen. Next two books I'm going to talk about I got as e-galleys. So the first one is Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. It is out from Berkeley, and it's a really cute romance about, this one is about Jesse. I want to say, yes, Jesse. He is one of four brothers. They were all adopted out of the foster system, and their mother has died. She ran a knitting store in Harlem, and it is like a big community spot. She took in kids, taught them how to knit. If nothing else comes from this book, I am a knitter, and if nothing else comes from this book, other than the fact that people are going to be like, oh, knitting is a great way to give kids a way to like be active without running around crazy and work with their hands and be creative and learn how to problem solve. Like, yes, I was like, the representation of knitting as a community outreach in this book made me so happy. Like, I almost could care less about the romance. I just wanted to know more about this knitting shop. So I'm hoping there will be more books, because it opens and Jesse has decided he's going to save his mother's knitting shop, even though it is, been mortgaged to the hilt and they didn't know, and there's no money coming in. And she just got a bunch of inventory that they have to try to move, because she knows that the quality yarn, it's better to work with smaller amount of quality stuff than it is to have a large amount of the cheap stuff. Like, cheap stuff is fine if that's what you can get, but if you can get the quality stuff, it just feels better. And like, yeah, I could nerd out forever just on the knitting parts of this book. And I don't have our heroine's name written down, because of course I don't. But she worked for the shop, and it's supposed to be part-time. She works at a community center. She's an art teacher. So she does both of these jobs part-time, and like the whole community wants her to like go out and put her degree to work and get a job and get out there and make something of herself. But you figure out pretty early on, she just wants to help run this knitting shop. And she actually does like Jesse. So it's not an enemies to lover. It is a romance. They do get together. It's weird in that it's a closed door romance. But they like everything's explicit leading up to them going to have sex, but once sex enters the equation, the door is closed. So if you're a reader who likes your romance with a little bit of spice, but not full on details, this could be for you. It's cute. I liked it. The cover is stunning. Can't wait to see what comes next. And then the last one that comes out in May that everyone has surely heard of and pre-ordered, but just in case you haven't, we are getting signed copies at our store. Very limited supply. First come, first serve. It is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, out from Quill Tree Books. Sorry, I had to flip my page so I knew what the publisher's name was. It is a novel in verse. I'm super excited to get a physical copy, because just digitally reading, it's still beautiful, but digitally reading books, a novel in verse versus physically reading it, there's a significant, for me at least, difference. I will also be buying the audiobook, because Elizabeth Acevedo narrates all her own audio, and oh my gosh, she's so good. So it is about two girls. One lives in New York City. One lives in the Dominican Republic. They don't know that they are sisters. They have the same father. He has two families. During the year, he's in New York, and then every summer, he goes back to the island and he visits his other daughter. And so when the book opens, pretty quickly, there's a plane crash. He is killed. Now these two girls are going to find out about each other. And it's just so, like, this is not an experience I've ever had any. But she writes it so beautifully, and with such love, that I've never been to this island and I want to go so bad. but I don't want to go because she writes about the resort and I'm like, I don't want to go there. I just want to go. So this is a way to have that experience of going and being a part of this culture without actually doing it, because I could never actually do it. But it's just so, her writing is just so pretty, and I feel like this is just me babbling on and on and on about how much I love Elizabeth Acevedo without actually explaining it, because I don't think you can fully explain it. But yeah, two sisters that don't know each other, their father dies, they have to find out about each other, they have to reconcile, you have to deal with like the finances of, because the sister on the island her mother has died, so it's just her, and he was the one funding her education, and her education was the only way she was going to be able to leave. And there's a sketchy dude that you find out her dad's been paying off to leave her alone, and like all of that. But at the same time, you have the sister in New York who is so intelligent but doesn't really know. And then she has a relationship with the girl who lives, I believe it's next door in their apartment building. And I've seen so many people on Twitter just being so excited about how that relationship is written. It's so beautiful. It's so sweet. Their friendship, that becomes a relationship. Like, it's just, this book is everything, guys. If you're going to read one YA book that comes out in May, this is the one to get. It's gorgeous. Elizabeth Acevedo is a national treasure. She better keep writing a book every year, because I'm going to be sad when she stops. So if we can just keep her going forever, that would be awesome. So that was Clap When You Land, and those are the 5 books coming out in May that I'm super excited about. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. Like and subscribe so that I know you're here. And let me know if there's anything else that you would like to know more about. I have a couple videos I'm filming in advance, and then I'm like, what should I do next? So if you have any questions, I have some ideas, but anything a video you'd be interested in having me film, please don't ask me to vlog. We're not set up for that right now in our home. I don't have that kind of technology. Hopefully that'll come eventually. But yeah. Talk to you later.